As Oscar Pistorius enters the North Gauteng High Court this morning for week 4 of his trial, it's important to take stock and reflect on the bigger picture of what this trial has represented for us as a country and indeed the world. Because in many ways, this has been about much more than just a murder trial. Over the last 3 weeks, Oscar Pistorius' trial of the premeditated murder of Reeva Steenkamp has sparked a number of debates, from gun control to our insatiable obsession with violent crime.
So far, it's been very interesting to see how this whole notion of open justice is actually being made accessible to the majority of South Africans, watching how people have been following the trial. There's also the issue of social media and the impact that it plays, and not only in bringing the judiciary to the people, but also just the conversations that people are having.
With the recent revelations that the case has received more media coverage than the FIFA World Cup, with over 9,000 articles published every hour on the subject, the question on everyone's lips has been, why the obsession with this particular trial?
People are obsessed with the trial because it's sensationalism and they want the blood and gore. That's why people stop at car accidents and look to see if there's any dead bodies lying on the side of the road.
Oscar is a public figure. That's why the case is gaining so much prominence. But how many other women out there are being killed by their lovers in a similar way, probably even more brutal, and they don't get to have the same attention from the media?
With the graphic and often disturbing details of the killing splurged on every screen and newspaper across the world, it has also been an extremely emotional trial, with people torn between their admiration for their hero and the revelation about his past behavior that cast doubt on his character and the person people thought they knew.
I've seen a lot of emotion, particularly coming from Pistorius himself. We've seen him crying, we've seen him covering his face and his ears and retching and vomiting in court.
We've got a heart for Oscar. He's been a big model for us in life, and with this it's breaking a lot of our opinions.
One of the major issues to be brought up around the trial has been gender-based violence.
Of course, gender-based violence has always been an issue in South Africa, and of course now it has been highlighted because this particular trial has been focused on throughout the world.
And here we have somebody that is a world icon, somebody that you would expect to be a role model to the world, whether he did it purposely or whether it was an accident. And the fact is, he did kill somebody's daughter.
The trial has also sparked questions around gun control, after Pistorius put in an order of a myriad of weapons, including 2 semi-automatic rifles and 3 shotguns, with the question of whether we should be putting the power to take life in the hands of people ill-equipped to deal with that power.
I think the public are learning a lot more about firearms, what it takes to actually own a firearm, the different laws that go with it.
I myself, as a hunter, there is certain rules that need to be in place, and I think we need to be more tough and hard on the licenses of weapons.
They're overreacting. They want to abolish guns totally, which I think is wrong, because I think one should be able to protect oneself if it comes to the push.
In Japan, they don't allow people to own firearms, and they have the least amount of gun violence out of any country in the world because of it. If you don't own a gun, you can't use it.
The extension of the trial from March 20th to April the 4th has placed a great deal of strain on Pistorius' bank account, with costs per day having escalated to an estimated 90,000 rand a day for lawyer fees, ballistics and forensic experts hired to counter the police's own investigation. For that reason, Oscar has put his Silverwoods house up for sale at an estimated 5 million rand. As week 4 begins in the High Court, whether or not we'll see a smoking gun from the state or defense remains to be seen. But whether found guilty or not, this case will have changed the lives of those involved forever.
It doesn't matter what happens to him, whether he goes to jail, whether he gets off free, he'll always have to live with the burden that he killed Reeva Steenkamp.
The one issue or circumstance he's facing is that his life is never going to be the same again. The Oscar trial continues at the North Gauteng High Court at 9:30 a.m. this morning, and of course follow more in-depth details on sabcnews.com.